Well, we're back on the Unapologetic Podcast. It's not just me, Brandt, today. Who are you?
I was here last
You were here
time.
last week, but
I was
like
here last week.
now it's real. So
right,
you're really
it's
back.
real.
You're really back.
I'm really back.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, last week I just kind of sat in and didn't have a lot to say, but really appreciated Mike Calhoun being here from CMH. But yeah, glad to be back and missed this. Looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. I don't think I said my name, Jonathon Woodyard, Vice President, Student Development here at SBU, if you forgot who I am. So I'm here, sitting in the shadows. You're sitting in the light.
Yeah, I mean, the time change, we haven't done a really early morning one, but definitely not one since the time changed. If you're watching the video,
You're squinting. Oh, they can see. They can see that you're in the light. But we're going to move. We're going to move. We're working on a podcast studio that I'm just waiting on you to tell me what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
You're the marketing guy.
I just got to give you the marching orders.
Right, and then I'll be the money guy. I think. We'll find it. Yeah. But we get a studio in the union. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, glad to be back and looking forward to talking today.
Yeah, and we're kind of a catch-all today, not a theme. Like we've had a few themes the last few weeks, but really just kind of catching up on things that are happening on campus, catch up a little bit on where you've been and sort of how that fits in the context of things happening around the world. But I've been able to avoid a lot of Kentucky basketball talk, but I can't avoid it today.
You can't.
We have to start today because we're recording this on Thursday in about 3.5 hours. Mizzou will be playing Kentucky in the quarterfinals of the SEC
Kentucky
tournament.
Yeah,
so that's a big game.
It's a big game.
For you and for me. So we got to trash talk it for at least a couple minutes.
Well, I don't want to trash talk because this is Kentucky's. We haven't played. So we had to play yesterday. We played. Who did we play? LSU. Beat them by 5 or something, which was whatever. But Kentucky hasn't had to play on a Wednesday of the SEC tournament. I think maybe the 70s. So this was just new territory. We've just been bad this year. I mean, 19-12. Now I guess we're 20-12, but 12 losses and having to play on a Wednesday of the SEC tournament because we were middle of the pack just hurt. So not excited about the team. I want to be – just think about this. I mean, I love basketball and love the whole back and forth. I'm careful about – I mean, they're kids, 17, literally 18, 19 years old, 20 years old playing basketball.
Making more than we are.
Making way more than we are. But it's just not personal. They're playing – but, yeah, it's just not been a good year. So I don't know what to expect today. It really depends on who shows up because in terms of quad one wins, they've got as many quad one wins as some of the best teams in the country this year. So when they play really good teams, they seem to show up sometimes, and other times they come out and get blown out. I mean, I just don't remember the last time I watched a Kentucky team that could win by 15 one day and literally lose by 25 the next. It's just been such an awkward year. And people make excuses, which are real. You've had 3 starters, 3 of the biggest names we recruited out, 2 of them out for the year. One's been out for a while and just came back for his limited minutes yesterday, which was exciting. But it's been a difficult year. So I don't know what to expect today. I really haven't watched much Kentucky basketball after I just couldn't handle it. I was like, this is just not, I can't do this. So I watched the first half yesterday, then I had some meetings, and then I watched the replay of the second half. So here we are. So Missouri, though, pretty good this year.
Mizzou always has an inferiority complex. We've been snake bitten so many times in so many ways. So I go into today feeling like if we lose, we're going to be out of the tournament because we're on the bubble. Joe Lenardi bracketology, we're in the last 4 in bracket, and we have 5 quad 1 wins, 21-11, I think is our record. But our non-conference schedule was so bad, so weak that we've been discounted all year. Even though we beat Kentucky earlier in the year, we beat Florida earlier in the year, but I don't know. The models have just always discounted us this year. So Kentucky's a lock. They're in the tournament no matter what happens today from every prediction group that's out there.
Quad 1 stuff. They're locked. They're in.
We're on the bubble. And all it takes for us to get knocked out is like 2 or 3 mid-major conferences to have an upset for a team that should be like, I think Liberty lost last night to Missouri State.
Yeah.
And Liberty, good chance they might still get in.
Right.
Because they had a great year, and now someone else from that conference is good. So you get a few of those dominoes to fall, and as a Mizzou fan, I expect all those dominoes to fall to make us. But if we win today, we're in. So Mizzou needs to win today to guarantee a spot in the tournament. If we lose, I'll be sweating it on Selection Sunday.
Kentucky needs to win for the sake of Mark Pope. Mark Pope loses today, and then Mark Pope loses first round of NCAA tournament, and we might be talking about a new coach. I mean, one of the reasons, if it was Mitch Barnhart was still the athletic director, then Mark would be back. I don't think he would fire Pope. But Mitch Barnhart's retiring. So who's the new athletic director? Does he want to come in? Does he want to come on the heels and say, hey, I want my own guy? This was not who I wanted us to hire. So I don't know what's there. But I think if Mark Pope wins this game and we move on to play whoever we'd play next, I think maybe Florida. Yeah, we'd play Florida next, which we only lost to Florida by 5. We almost come back and beat them. And we've played them tight both times. Then who knows what could happen. But you win a couple more games of the SEC tournament, then I don't think it matters what happens in the NCAA tournament. But anyway, interesting. We'll see. The game will be on in the Student Union. I will maybe watch it.
And we are meeting today on a planning meeting for our England trip, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
At 1?
At 1. The game will still be on.
Yeah, so we'll see how quickly we get started meeting.
Yeah.
Or how much we have to watch into the game. So that's basketball. You're back. You were gone for 6 weeks. You were in South Carolina. You were on military, I want to say engagement. That could sound like.
Yeah, military orders.
So I thought it'd be good just to spend a couple minutes. Like what were you doing?
Sure.
How did it go? But then also you're there as all these rumors of wars with Iran are starting to happen, which really kicked off after you got back.
The day after I got back, we actually bombed.
So you were on the base when there's just a lot of chatter. So I think that's maybe interesting to talk about. But what was your start there? What were you doing? And
so I've been in the military for 16 years, and the first decade of that I was field artillery, and then short stint as trained up as an MP, then went to Iraq. With 18th MP Brigade. So I've been in for a long time. Then I got out for a long time and came back in 4 years ago on the chaplain side. So I was enlisted, get out, come back in on the chaplain side. Chaplain's an officer, staff officer. So when you do that, and you come in to the chaplain corps, the chaplains it's called a direct commission. So you are directly, because of your education, your pastoral experience, you have to have either completed, to be a chaplain, you have to have finished your MDiv and have pastoral experience. So you come in with rank. You are direct commissioned. You don't have to go to ROTC or anything like that. So because of that, you get a lot of people who've never been in the military, and they have to go through what's called IMT, Initial Military Training. So they send you to what's called CHBOLC. That's short for Chaplain Basic Officer Leadership Course, CHBOLC. Every officer in the United States Army has to go through BOLC, Basic Officer Leadership Course. They have one of those that's parted out for chaplains, so the CH at the beginning of it, CHBOLC. So every chaplain has to go through that. And the first 4 weeks of it is initial military training. It's for people that are direct commissioning, never been in the Army. This is their first day. So we get there, we're in our civilian clothes, we're in the parking lot. We have to show up at a certain time with our backpacks and paperwork. And you look across the street, and there are drill sergeants standing there waiting on you. And at this point, right, you're not 18 out of high school. It's older, you know, a lot of older people. So I'm there, a couple people that are older than I am, and people in their 30s and whatever. And so you walk across and you enter into initial military training, and they start yelling and words are flying, and you have to do what you're told. And for the first 4 weeks, you're learning to march and salute, and what's rank structure, learning what's military planning operations, what does that look like, troop leading procedures. You're just introduction to the Army. On top of that is also PT, physical training. You're having to get up early, shave every day, get in formation, do your PT with people yelling at you. So that's the first month. So for 4 weeks, that's what I was doing. And a lot of it was a refresher. It's like, okay, I don't remember how to right flank, right, when we're marching. So we had to do DNC, drill and ceremony, all that stuff. And then you're in the classroom for a lot of it. And the classroom stuff was good. I mean, you're getting military instruction. You're learning chaplain is a part of the staff, the battalion staff, and you're learning how all that works and how to be a staff officer. A lot of leadership stuff, which is actually really helpful, even coming back here, the leadership stuff that we talked about and how you lead people. So you're doing that for 4 weeks. And then after that's done, that's called phase 0. Phase 1 transitions into drill sergeants go away. You're no longer a newbie, so to speak. You got that experience. You know what people are going through in basic training a little bit, so you can relate. But then phase 1 gets into your job. So you've got the overview, staff officer, what you do as an Army officer and work on battalion staff, all the military planning operation steps and how that works, and a lot of other things. And then you're getting into chaplain stuff when you get to phase 1. What does it look like now to hone in on the particular role of a chaplain? What is a chaplain? And a lot of people think a chaplain pops up every now and then and prays. Like, hey, we're going to eat. Chaplain, can you pray for us? Sure.
It's more than that, really. Wow.
Hey, we're in the staff meeting. Chaplain, hey, let's start with prayer. Sure, I'll do that. And then there's nothing about Christianity in that meeting. And then, you've got to do a chapel service on Sunday morning, which I do now. And I've talked to you about some of the opportunities I have to do that here. So you do a chapel service. So you pray and you pray, or you pray and you pray, and then you plan it, and then you preach. You plan a chapel service. But at the schoolhouse, it's called USARL, United States Army Institute for Religious Leadership. The Army loves their acronyms. So that now becomes USARL on everything you're seeing, okay. USA-IRL. So you're there, and at the schoolhouse, you've got chaplains who've been around. They've been doing this for a long time. Now they're instructors. So my particular leader was a lieutenant colonel. So he's getting ready to actually go overseas, be in Kuwait, but he'd been around for a long time. And so now you start learning from them, and the classroom, it's very much more interpersonal, it's relaxed, and now you're talking the job and learning what chaplains do. So you do much more than pray and lead a chapel service. So really quickly, just if you're like, what does a chaplain do? I'd put it in 3 categories. One is you're kind of a constitutional enforcer. You're there to ensure that the formation, everybody in the formation, all the troops, can practice their faith according to the dictates of their conscience. So freedom of religion, right? The First Amendment, that is something that you're there to protect. And back in the early days back in 1775, 1776, the discussion was, if you're going to join the Army and we're going to deploy you to a forward position, are we going to ensure that you can still practice your faith? Are we hindering someone from freedom of religion? And the chaplain is there to say, hey, what do you need? And back in the day, it was mostly everybody Protestant or Catholic, and so you're offering chapel services. You can perform the services they needed. Now, we're a much more pluralistic environment these days, religious diversity. But so you still have to make sure that your Jewish soldier, your Muslim soldier, your Hindu, your Buddhist, your Baptist, they can practice their faith. Now, that doesn't mean I perform.
Sure.
Right. So you're a constitutional enforcer, but then you're also a religious support provider. Now, you provide in 2 ways. I either perform the service, like I can lead a chapel service for Protestants. I can preach an expositional sermon. I can pray for somebody who's of my like faith and practice. Or you perform or coordinate. I can't lead Mass for a Roman Catholic, but I'd have to ensure that I'd give them space to do that themselves, or find a resource for them, a priest or somebody that could do it, work within the Army ranks to do that. So you're either performing or coordinating. So you're You're ensuring the freedom of religion, and you're communicating that, hey, this soldier needs XYZ. You're communicating that to the leadership and ensuring that they're letting them do what they need to. And then you're providing either by performing or coordinating. And then the third piece is you are an advisor to the command. So you work for at the battalion level, you work for the battalion commander, the lieutenant colonel. You're his special staff, and say, hey, sir, we need to think about this month. We've got 4 Muslim soldiers and it's Ramadan. So that's going to affect training plans. And this one, so you're working with battalion, him and his staff, say we're putting training plans together. And so the S3 shop, which is your ops shop, that captain that's in there and his NCOs, and they're working up training plans, and there's that discussion. Hey, we need to remember to push down that it's Ramadan. There's going to be some needs for our Muslim soldiers, or our Jewish soldiers are going to need excused for prayer, or whatever the case may be. And then beyond the training plans, hey, we're going into Iran, and you need to know the religious situation on the ground. And that's what you're doing in those meetings, religious analysis, religious impact reports. That would be a briefing you'd give to the command as they're thinking about moving into an area. So that's what a chaplain does.
How much of it, if any, is like you're a source for soldiers to come to and seek counsel?
Massive.
Okay. I would have thought that's probably a big part of it too.
They can come to you, seek counseling. There's 100% confidentiality with a chaplain. You cannot share the confidentiality belongs to the soldier. If they tell me something, I can say nothing to nobody unless they give me permission. So they know that there's a confidential person they can talk to, which often gets sticky.
Yeah, I would imagine.
That's what we're doing. That's so that you go through school, you learn how to do that, learn how to write. You have to contribute to the operations order. So there's parts of that you have to write, just learning all those types of things. So anyway, that's Fort Jackson. That's where the chaplain schoolhouse is, and spent 6 weeks there. And I'll have to go back and spend 6 more next year and finish it because it's a 12-week course.
And you were there, and we were talking and texting through part of this as this Iran situation was sort of bubbling and brewing okay, are we going to attack? Is Israel going to attack? What does that mean? And that led to, questions, chatter, uncertainty on the base while you were there. And what is that? You've been deployed. So I'm assuming a lot of folks on that base had been in the past too. So when you're facing or hearing about something that could lead to deployment, or at least it's definitely going to involve the military, what's that sort of temperature like when you're in the middle of it?
The temperature goes up a little bit. I was deployed in 2005 as an MP, or the 18th MP brigade, and went to, I was in Iraq for almost a year. So we're there, and the temperature certainly goes up when you know that possibility's there. So on a base, though, it's not like the movies. Not everybody in the uniform is getting a call from Central Command, CENTCOM. You may hear CENTCOM like on Fox News or something. That's Central Command.
MacDill Air Force Base, Tampa, Florida.
You're not getting calls from
other Floridians out there.
Yeah, you're not getting calls to say, "Hey, here's what's going on." They're not even calling the general of the colonel, the garrison commander at Fort Jackson. He's not on those phone calls either. But what happens is when the rumors were there, we had heard about it. For a while, we knew that something was coming. People were talking about it. Some of the commandants, or the commandant. We had a visit from the chief of chaplains, which he works in the Pentagon, so he'd flown down and spent some time with us. It's a 2-star general, so we got to interact with him a little bit. And we knew we weren't going anywhere in terms of they're not going to deploy the schoolhouse, right?
Yeah. You can sense when there's real preparations being made for something.
So on a base, what happens is twofold. One, here in the States, what happens on a base is you talk about operational security. So that heightens a little bit. So there's directives that went out about what you can wear off base, what you shouldn't wear off base. So don't go to Walmart off post in your uniform, right? So what they're trying to do there is just say don't become a target. We don't know what's going to happen over there. We don't know how that's going to impact here. The way terrorism works and everything else, don't become a target. You already look like a military person. You're clean shaven. You have no hair, and you're in somewhat of decent shape. And there's just a certain cadence about you. But don't put the uniform on and go to Cracker Barrel. So there's that type of operational security conversation. There was comments made to us in the schoolhouse by some of the leadership that one of the things they could consider doing if things got really bad was shortening the course or fast tracking the course, get everybody through the material, graduate everybody. Then there's 65, I think 62, 65 students in the course. Get you through the course, graduated. Now you are what's called MOSQ. You're qualified to do your job, and then send you back to your units, and then you're in the fighting force, so to speak. You're ready to go if your unit were to go somewhere. So there was a brief conversation about that's potentially what could happen if something really bad kicked off over there. But really, that's all predicated on if there's ground invasions, right? If there's boots on the ground.
You're talking Army
Chaplain. Right, Army Chaplain Corps. Yeah. If there's massive movement of boots on the ground, then you start talking about what units are going. Then it's a company level, brigade level, battalion level conversation. Are they looking at our particular brigade? Are they looking at our particular battalion? What's the deployment schedule? When are we slated to go anywhere? Because that's all on a huge schedule. It's not just willy-nilly. Hey, let's take these random people or that random people. There's a schedule out there that they work with, and that's way above my pay grade. I mean, that's in the Pentagon. So conversations in terms of operational security were going on. Hey, we could fast track this course, get you guys back to your units, and so you're ready to go if something were to happen. And then more, I would imagine, at the brigade and battalion levels, certain ones are starting to have conversations. But Fort Jackson, though, is really a training center. There's about 60,000 or so troops that go through there a year for training. So basic training, NCO courses, chaplain's course, adjutant general's course, that stuff's all there at Fort Jackson. Wow. So,
and you got back the day before we started striking, I think. So
I think I got back, and then the next day I wake up in Fox News, and we're dropping bombs on Iran, and still doing it.
We've kind of touched on this before, I think, when there's been other military things happening, but in general, for us, maybe sharing how we think through these sorts of things, because I think a lot of Christians probably wrestle with how they feel about war and violence and the government doing these things. I think from our Reformed perspective, with God's sovereignty being at the top, I look at this, and you probably do too, of, okay, God is ultimately in control. His plan is out there. We don't know it, and this is part of it. And violence is never a good thing. I don't think we ever seek it out as something that's desirable, but it can be an instrument of...
It can be an instrument of good. The government doesn't bear the sword in vain, right? So it could be a necessary thing, and I won't call it a necessary evil, because I don't think just war is evil. Yeah. I think it's a necessary
and just reality. War is kind of that broad category.
Right. Well, the Augustinian tradition and just war theory and all those things, and you can look all that up, and plenty of articles about what leads to a just war. I think when these things, what Christians have to do is remember we live in a fallen world. Jesus promised there are going to be wars and rumors of wars, and these things are going to happen. And I'm not a post-millennialist. I don't think that the world's going to get increasing. And some of my friends are, but I don't happen to be a post-millennialist. When I read the Bible, I don't think the world's going to get better and better and better and better and better. And then the return of Jesus when there's kind of utopia. I think the world is going to continue as it is now and then get worse and worse. And then Christ returns and sets up his kingdom forever with no curse. So for now, I think Christians should just okay, this isn't surprising that there's conflict, right? This should not surprise us that there are wars. Jesus talked about this. This has been the reality since the Garden of Eden. Yeah. So I think that's one thing. I'm not saying don't be shocked and sad. Absolutely, we lament it. We don't seek it, but we're not surprised that things are chaotic in our world. Sin is real, and the consequences are serious and visible. So I think that's one place to start. Is we're not surprised by these things. We're saddened. We should be saddened by the loss of life. I know there's American troops who already lost their life, but not just American troops. They're just human beings. Yeah. No matter if you're an American or Iranian or Kuwaiti or whatever you are, human beings are going to lose their life in these wars.
And it seems likely, I don't think they've done the final report yet, but that a school was bombed in Iran with 100 plus kids potentially killed in that, and it was likely, seems like a U.S. strike on it too. So you see that, and you have to step back and think through the just war, like the reasons for doing this have to be so clearly ultimately good in the right direction to justify what are the terrible, horrible things, terrible that consequences. When there's violence.
Yeah. So I think Christians should, everybody, Christians included, should be really careful to make public comment on operations that they're not in a cube somewhere locked away with all the data and intel. Be very careful to trust what you see on social media reporting bombings of whatever it may be. I mean, the enemy over there right now, they're putting all kinds of silly videos out that, we struck this, we struck that. Those aren't true. So be careful, be slow to speak, quick to listen, be prayerful, praying for a quick end to this. But at the end of the day, I think this particular engagement, and I don't have all the intel. I'm not not in the CIA. I don't know all the things, but it is undeniable that the Iranian government, the ones that are in control now, for the past 50, 60 years or longer, have been a terror on humanity, on their own people, on the American people. They are not a stable regime, and so for us to go in there has been met with, from the Iranian people themselves, celebration. Yeah. So I can at least say, and I heard Jimmy Scroggins, leader in the Southern Baptist Convention, his sons went to school. A couple of his sons went to school here. I heard Jimmy Scroggins talking about for his whole lifetime that regime has been demonic. They've been the way they've treated people, slaughtered their own people. Yep. We can at least celebrate that a tyrannical, murderous regime is being dismantled. Now, that doesn't mean that we think by any means necessary and, we need to be careful. I can at least celebrate that, even as I maybe lament the way we talk about things, the way we go about things. So I just want to be careful. I don't have all the information. The more we're in leadership here and people critique things and ask questions and get mad about this or that, I'm like, they're just not in the room where so many
they don't have all the information.
All the information, all the finer points in order to make a decision. And so and that's here. Yeah. You're talking about international politics. Just want to be real careful. So I can at least celebrate today that there's a murderous regime that's being dismantled, and I pray that we finish the job.
All right. Well, that's enough military Iran talk. Thank you. I don't know that I would say it much, but thank you for your serving and what you do. So thank you for serving.
Yeah. My pleasure.
And for sharing some of your service.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. So things that are happening on campus, we wanted to kind of touch on and just run through a bunch of different things because it's a busy time of year. Spring break is next week. So students will be heading off. A part of what spring break entails every year are some mission trips. We had commissioning chapel this last Monday for chapel, and we've got some groups that are going out next week. So what are some of the trips that are happening on the mission trip side? And
so we've got a team. We've got two teams going out for spring break. North Carolina Disaster Relief, working with the North American Mission Board, doing some work over there from I think hurricane a couple of years ago. They're just trying to help people in that area. So there's quite a few students heading that direction. I think that team's quite large. But then you've got Duke Jones, one of our professors in Redford, the School of Christian Ministry. They are going to Guatemala, and they're going to do orphan care and some construction stuff, and hopefully have an opportunity to share the gospel. So just those two teams going out for spring break, and then we'll have more teams in the summer. You got a team going to from everywhere from Alaska to us taking it's not a mission trip, but
right.
Educational trip. We'll have students overseas, which we will be talking about religion and the Christian faith, and we'll even pray that God would give us opportunities to be witnesses for Christ while we're there, be in London, England. So just students going around the world, literally. And so we're excited about that. And again, just part of the legacy of Southwest Baptist University. The Center for Global Connections has been around for a long time, precedes us, and just thankful to be part of a school that takes that seriously. We really do want to be a school that raises up men and women who make a Christ-exalting impact in the world. Yep. I was talking with Dr. Melson. We had a meeting yesterday or day before about his dreams. He wants to make it a goal that if you go to school here for 4 years, so you got to give us 4 years, don't come here for 2 years and transfer or whatever. For 4 years, you should at least have gone on one trip. And so we want to try to make that happen and enlarge their vision, the students, their vision of the world, see the need around the world, see the opportunities around the world, see the beauty of the world that God has created, have a global vision. That's something that we want to try to instill in these students. And the Center for Global Connection is one department that tries to make that happen in a very tangible way.
Yeah. The London trip you mentioned is one I think we're both looking forward to. That's July 20th.
We have a meeting today.
A group of students to London and Oxford and Cambridge and just some other sites around there to talk about just religious history, religious freedom, some political history, because that's very intertwined if you talk about the British story and the British history. And even when you say British, that can mean different things to different people, because you have England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales.
Yeah, and who is Great Britain? Who is England? And that's a big, just reading a book right now. It's a very niche book, but 1603 to 1718, and it's the rise of the Stuart monarchy. You know, you're moving from the Tudors to the Stuarts, and you're moving from this kind of monarchical supremacy to now House Parliament involved, and just really interesting. But a lot of that discussion, you can't take religion out of the question, right? That's a massive part of it. King James of Scotland, now King James England. One of his big dreams is the union of Scotland and England, and getting to this thing called Great Britain, and the religion's a huge part of it. Ireland is in play there, and again, the Roman Catholic background. So all kinds of different issues going on there.
Well, even had the Church of England form is from a king who didn't like King Henry VIII, way the Pope was treating
King Henry VIII starts the dominoes, so to speak. Back in the 16th century. So we get to take. There's 22 of us going, so it'll be a sizable group. We've got a lot of students going over there to talk about social, cultural, political, religious history, and how that's all intertwined, going all the way back to the influence of Rome. I mean, they're making forays into the Isles there in the BCs, I think 53 BC or so, and then you've got then you get into the 40 ADs or so, and you get kind of this Roman influence. So lots of history to learn there. Excited to talk about it, but not something disconnected from where we are right now. I mean, understanding our world, the United States, our political system, understanding where we live and why things are the way they are, the history, the lineage, to understand our religious history. How did things get from England to here, and why certain groups came, and just something that is maybe more important to students than they realize. So even going to Oxford and say, hey, Oxford, you know who studied at Oxford, right? Many, C.S. Lewis being one. But what does that have to do with us? Well, just real practically, C.S. Lewis was somebody who wrote Surprised by Joy. He has an impact through his writings on a guy named John Piper. John Piper, through his writings and preaching, has an impact on you and me, Rick Melson. Rick goes to work for or Dr. Melson goes to work for John in Minneapolis. I go up there and study, and then work for John in Minneapolis at Bethlehem. And now we're here. So even the things you hear in chapel, the way Dr. Melson talks, the way we talk, are influenced by a guy that was influenced by a guy over in Oxford. So there's it's really cool for me. Yeah. I get all nerded out by that stuff. Yeah. I'm like, that's so cool. That history for me is like, hey, there's a history that goes so much further back, and we're a product of our influences in many ways. So anyway, I'm excited.
Even just the university, Southwest Baptist. Yeah. What's the lineage of Baptists in America? And
sure, where does that come from?
Congregational churches dominating the early colonies, and how did Baptists get the freedom to operate and worship the way they wanted to worship, and then ultimately leading to what we have today.
Here we have, here we are. So lots of history there. Excited to get over there.
Me too. Other things coming up. So Bearcat Days, March 27th to 28th, is our last big visit event for students that are coming next fall. It's the overnight. We're doing it the same weekend that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, our big spring musical, is happening. And they're going to do some dorm Olympics, I think, that night for the students that are coming.
Doing
and
some other stuff in the dorms,
things that they've got planned. We've got 57 already registered for that one, and 2 more weeks to go. So we're excited for what Bearcat Days is going to bring. And then today, to tie with SBU Giving Day, which is happening today, we're also doing a half deposit campaign that kicked off. So hopefully encouraging some more students that are ready to make a decision to make that today.
Yeah, Bearcat Days is fun. You get matched up with a host at some level where somebody in the dorm would be helping
current students
get people around campus, and so excited to see our students engaging with future students.
But a lot of them came as future students to Bearcat Days, so they kind of pay it forward as they come through. Chapel, we've still got some fun chapel speakers coming in. In particular, I know Shane Pruitt coming after spring break.
Is the big one. The rest are good. I mean, people we get to hear from here. Shane Pruitt's the last person from outside that we're bringing in to speak, and so works for the North American Mission Board, and really popular author right now, and popular amongst our demographics. So excited for Shane Pruitt to be here on the
March 25th.
25th.
Yeah, that Wednesday.
Yeah, 24th is he's doing an after dark. He's doing an after dark on that Tuesday night in the student union, and so a chance for a more intimate setting for students to engage with him. But then he'll be in chapel on the 25th.
And reminder that all of our chapel services are broadcast live on YouTube. Stream. So I would imagine some folks listening, if you've heard of Shane Pruitt, I think he's going to be great for our college students because he really speaks to this generation and the things that they wrestle with. But I think anyone who follows us or is a fan of what we're doing would appreciate watching that one.
100%.
Live if you can. If not, it'll be on there.
It's good.
Afterward. And then commencement is May 8th. That's going to come real quick.
It's coming quick. Yeah, we're having conversations about that now in terms of facilities and different things we need to do to our basketball IM gyms.
That's right.
So moving pieces, moving parts.
And then summer camps kick off, and then we'll be in Orlando for the Southern Baptist Convention. It's going to start happening real quick here for sure. Anything else going on we didn't?
I don't think so. Glad to be back. Glad to be here. Sitting in our cabinet meetings, sitting with Dr. Melson yesterday, we had a meeting about chapel and other things. We're just going our yearly, like, hey, what's coming up next year? Who do we want to get in chapel the next 2 years? So we were sitting talking about those things and just reminded, thankful to be here, thankful to be at this school. Went out with Gina and I, my wife, went out last night. We do date nights on Wednesday. Went to Kiko's. It's back open. Yeah. So we went and had Kiko's. I had sushi. And she said, hey, how's it being back? Been back 2 weeks now. I said, it's great. Love what I do. And it's been really fun to be with the team and sit and have coffee with friends. And the family's doing well. And so just happy to be at this place, at a school that's unapologetically Christian, unapologetic. We're not shy about it. And a place where there are a lot of people who love Jesus, a lot of people who need Jesus, and so there's just a lot of good work to do here.
Yeah. Amen. Well, I'm glad you're back too. We probably will try to get Shane on when he's here and talk through. So that could be our next episode. We'll be out next week for spring break, but we got that coming up, and we'll have some other good guests before we hit the summer And it'll be probably a little sporadic in the summer. But as always, thanks for listening, and we will see everyone on the next one. Go Mizzou.
Big Blue.